Imagine a guitarist so legendary that his riffs defined an entire era of rock music. A musician whose passion for perfection made him both admired and feared. And a man whose lifestyle is as mysterious as his music. This is the story of Ritchie Blackmore, the mastermind behind Deep Purple and Rainbow. From his luxurious possessions to his personal life, we uncover the untold lifestyle of a rock legend. Tantintwurz, early life of Ritchie Blackmore. Ritchie Blackmore was born on April 14, 1945, in Weston-super-Mare, England, but his family soon moved to Heston, Middlesex, where he spent most of his childhood. Growing up in post-war Britain, Ritchie's early life was shaped by strict discipline and a working-class environment. His father, Louis J. Blackmore, was a hard-working man who believed in dedication and perseverance. While Louis wasn't a musician, he deeply respected skilled instrumentalists, and when he noticed young Ritchie's growing interest in music, he decided to support him, but with conditions. At the age of 11, Ritchie received his first guitar from his father, but there was a strict rule. He had to take formal lessons and learn to play it properly. Otherwise, the guitar would be taken away. This pushed young Ritchie to take music seriously. Unlike most kids who played outdoors, Ritchie spent hours practicing chords and techniques. His first guitar lessons came from Big Jim Sullivan, a well-known session guitarist. Under his guidance, Ritchie learned not only rock music, but also elements of classical music, which would later become a signature part of his style. He struggled at first, but his obsession with perfection drove him to practice relentlessly. This early exposure to discipline, classical music, and electric guitar techniques laid the foundation for his legendary career. His passion, combined with strict discipline, shaped him into one of the most iconic guitarists in rock history. Musical beginnings and first breakthrough. Ritchie Blackmore's journey into music began at an early age. Born in 1945 in Weston-super-Mare, England, he developed an interest in the guitar at the age of 11 when his father gifted him his first instrument. Unlike most kids, Ritchie didn't just strum casually, he was obsessed. He practiced for hours every day, learning techniques from records and musicians around him. By his teenage years, he had already gained a reputation for his fast and technical guitar playing. This led him to his first major break, joining Screaming Lord Sutch and the Savages, a British rock band known for their wild stage performances. Playing with experienced musicians in this band helped him develop his stage presence and refine his unique style. However, Ritchie wasn't satisfied with just being in the background. He wanted more control over the music he played. To improve his skills further, he began studying classical music, blending Baroque influences into his rock sound, an approach that would later become his signature style. In 1963, Ritchie joined Hines and the Wild Boys, where he gained more creative freedom. His electrifying guitar solos started gaining attention in the music industry, and soon he was invited to a new project, a band that would later be known as Deep Purple. When Deep Purple formed in 1967, they started with a psychedelic rock sound, but Ritchie had a different vision. He wanted something heavier and more powerful. His innovative guitar work soon reshaped the band's identity, setting them on the path to becoming rock legends. By 1968, Deep Purple released their debut album, and Ritchie Blackmore's rise as a guitar icon had officially begun. Rise to stardom with Deep Purple. By the late 1960s, Ritchie Blackmore's musical journey took a historic turn when he co-founded Deep Purple in 1967. Initially, the band experimented with a psychedelic rock sound, but Ritchie had a much bigger vision. He wanted something heavier, louder, and more powerful. Their breakthrough came with the 1970 album Deep Purple in Rock, where Ritchie's aggressive, fast-paced guitar riffs became the signature sound of hard rock. His electrifying performance in songs like Speed King and Child in Time set new standards for rock guitarists. But it was in 1972 that Deep Purple reached legendary status with the album Machine Head, featuring their biggest hit, Smoke on the Water. The song's iconic riff, written by Ritchie, became one of the most recognized guitar riffs in rock history. This success made Deep Purple one of the biggest bands in the world, selling out stadiums and headlining major rock festivals. However, Ritchie's perfectionism and strong opinions often led to tensions within the band. He was known for demanding musical excellence, which sometimes caused conflicts with bandmates. By 1975, after years of dominating the rock scene, Ritchie decided to leave Deep Purple and form his own band, Rainbow, to have complete creative control. Even after leaving, his legacy with Deep Purple remained unmatched. His influence on the hard rock and heavy metal genres inspired generations of musicians, proving that his vision had changed rock music forever. The Rainbow era and solo career. After leaving Deep Purple in 1975, Ritchie Blackmore wanted full creative control over his music. He formed a new band called Rainbow, bringing in Ronnie James Dio as the lead vocalist. This was a turning point in his career, as Rainbow's music blended hard rock with fantasy-inspired lyrics, creating a unique sound. Their debut album, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, 1975, introduced hits like Man on the Silver Mountain, showcasing Ritchie's powerful riffs and melodic solos. The band's second album, Rising, 1976, became a classic in rock history, featuring epic tracks like Stargazer. Ritchie's guitar work was more refined, and his love for classical music heavily influenced Rainbow's sound. Despite their success, Ritchie constantly changed band members, searching for the perfect lineup. By the early 1980s, Rainbow's style shifted towards a more commercial rock sound, producing radio-friendly hits like Since You Been Gone. However, Ritchie disbanded Rainbow in 1984 to rejoin Deep Purple. After a brief reunion with Deep Purple, Ritchie left the band again in 1993, feeling dissatisfied with the direction of their music. He revived Rainbow in 1995, but this time with a more melodic rock approach. However, by the late 1990s, he had grown tired of rock music and decided to explore something completely different. He transitioned to Renaissance and folk music, forming Blackmore's Night with his wife, Candice Knight. Their music was deeply influenced by medieval and Baroque sounds, marking a new chapter in his career. This shift proved that Ritchie Blackmore was not just a rock legend, but a musician with an ever-evolving artistic vision. Personal life and relationships. Ritchie Blackmore's personal life has been as fascinating as his musical journey. Known for his mysterious and private nature, he has been in several relationships, but his strongest and most influential bond has been with Candice Knight. In the 1970s, Ritchie was briefly married to Margit Volkmar, with whom he had a son, Jürgen Blackmore. However, their marriage didn't last long, and Ritchie moved on. During the 1980s, he had another marriage with Amy Rothman, but again, it ended in separation. Ritchie's obsession with music and his perfectionist nature made it difficult for him to maintain long-term relationships. Everything changed in 1989 when he met Candice Knight, a young radio intern. They quickly bonded over their love for music, medieval history, and fantasy. Candice soon became his muse and creative partner. Despite their 27-year age gap, their relationship flourished. After being together for over a decade, they married in 2008 and have 2 children together. Candice played a crucial role in shaping Ritchie's later career. Her soft, melodic voice inspired him to move away from rock and create Blackmore's Night, a band that blends Renaissance and folk music. They now live a quiet life, away from the rock and roll chaos, focusing on family, music, and medieval-themed performances. Despite his rebellious rock star past, Ritchie has found peace and stability with Candace. Their love story is proof that even the most wild and unpredictable musicians can find true companionship. Hobbies and interests. Ritchie Blackmore's life isn't just about music. He has a range of unique hobbies and interests that define his personality. While most rock stars live a fast-paced life, Ritchie prefers solitude, medieval culture, and the simple joys of life. One of his biggest passions is history, particularly medieval Europe. This fascination is so deep that it influenced his music and lifestyle. He loves reading history books, visiting castles, and studying medieval traditions. His band, Blackmore's Night, is a direct reflection of this love for the past. Another major hobby is archery and sword fighting. Unlike other musicians who collect guitars, Ritchie enjoys collecting medieval weapons. He has an impressive collection of swords, crossbows, and shields, and he even practices sword fighting as a hobby. Despite being a rock legend, Ritchie prefers peaceful nature over big cities. He enjoys long walks in forests, by the riverside, and in historical sites. He has often said that being in nature helps him think creatively and gives him a break from the chaos of the music industry. Ritchie also has a quirky sense of humor and enjoys pranking people. Bandmates and friends have shared stories of how he plays practical jokes, such as throwing water balloons or giving unexpected surprises. Car, collection, and luxury lifestyle. Ritchie Blackmore may be a rock legend, but unlike many celebrities who flaunt extravagant lifestyles, he prefers a low-key yet elegant way of living. He is not obsessed with flashy supercars, but owns a small yet exclusive collection of classic and luxury vehicles. One of his most prized possessions is a Jaguar XJ, a car that perfectly matches his personality: classic, powerful, and sophisticated. He has been spotted driving it on multiple occasions, and it reflects his love for vintage yet high-performance machines. Another car that he has owned is a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, known for its comfort, elegance, and timeless appeal. This car is perfect for long road trips, something that Ritchie enjoys, especially when exploring historical sites and countryside locations. Despite his success, Ritchie prefers quiet luxury over extravagant displays of wealth. He lives in a beautiful countryside home in the U.S., surrounded by nature and away from the chaos of city life. His home is designed to reflect his love for medieval history, featuring stone walls, vintage wooden furniture, and even antique decorations. Rather than spending millions on yachts and private jets, he invests in his passions, music, history, and medieval culture. His lifestyle is a perfect balance between simplicity and sophistication, proving that true rock stars don't always follow the crowd. Career journey and success. Ritchie Blackmore's career is nothing short of legendary. From a young age, he was drawn to the guitar, inspired by early rock and roll icons. In the 1960s, he became a session guitarist, playing for various bands before co-founding Deep Purple in 1968. This marked the beginning of his rise to fame. With Deep Purple, Ritchie helped create some of the most iconic rock songs of all time, including Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, and Child in Time. His innovative playing style, blending classical music with hard rock, set him apart from other guitarists. He quickly gained a reputation as one of the greatest guitarists in rock history. However, Ritchie was known for his strong personality and artistic differences with band members. In 1975, he left Deep Purple to form Rainbow, where he experimented with a more melodic and classical-influenced rock sound. With Rainbow, He continued to produce hit albums and work with legendary vocalists like Ronnie James Dio. In the 1980s, Ritchie briefly reunited with Deep Purple, but eventually left again in 1993. His final major career shift came in the late 1990s when he formed Blackmore's Night, moving away from hard rock to focus on medieval folk music. This unexpected transformation showed his versatility and deep love for history and music. Despite shifting styles, Ritchie's influence on rock and metal guitarists remains unmatched. His legacy is carried forward by countless musicians who cite him as a major inspiration.